Welcome back to Chef Campers. I'm Michael, and in this episode I am going to share with you one of the chef secrets I have for cooking an amazing steak for not that much money, if I'm honest with you. What are we cooking today? Well, we are going to be, let's go with the start of the show to begin with. We are on the steak. Now this is Bavette steak or flank steak. This is from the belly of the cow, and actually it's a cut that is often referred to as the butcher's cut because the butchers like to keep hold of it for themselves. That's how good it is. Every bite is a flavour. It's incredible. Now, a couple of things to say about Bavette steak. You want it as dark as you possibly can. If it's quite light and pink, it means it hasn't been aged very long and it's just been cut and left to one side and sold straight away. If you've got kind of a dark reddish colour like we have here, then that tells me that's dry aged, and you're looking for anything from, I don't know, 20 days, 30 days plus. And Bavette is a cheap cut of meat. If you used to get a fillet steak of that size, you're looking maybe 4 times the price. So it really is quite a bit cheaper, and you've got a huge amount of flavour. So this is a cut for me that we should be cooking more and we should be asking for more. And if we ask for it more, maybe they'll stock it more. But speak to your butcher, get to know your butcher, and they will definitely sort you out with this. Right, what are we going to serve with the steak? Well, I'm going to serve something different. So we've got some new potatoes, as we usually do, in the Chef Camper Basco cookery pot. And they're part boiled, as they usually are. And we're going to have potato kebabs. That sounds a bit silly and a bit ridiculous, but potato kebabs, potato skewers, it makes it quite practical for cooking directly on the charcoal. And actually this is something that my dear friend Mark Bunce introduced me to many moons ago. So yeah, this is a bit of homage to him. And to go with that, if you've ever been to one of my cookery weekends or been around the campfire with us, seen us cooking steak, you'll know that we always get some padron peppers in because those things are just awesome. I'm not going to make this complicated, I'm going to make it really simple. Watch this. I'm going to get myself some kebab, some potatoes on the kebab sticks, and we know that that's kind of like one portion, and being able to turn that on the fire makes it very easy to deal with. So in order to make things a bit better, let's have some wine, eh? Right, sticking with the South African theme, we are on South African wine now. We are not swimming in cash, as you'd be able to tell. This is from Lidl. This is a South African red, and we'll see how we get on with it. It's probably not going to be the best we've had, but we just need to hope it's not the worst. Right, there's our potato kebabs kind of lined up there, ready to go on the barbecue, but we want to add some flavours to them. So let's get a knife and let's cut up some garlic. And what we want to do here is we're going to add some garlic with some olive oil, some rosemary, and we're just going to brush that over the potatoes as they kind of grill over. No, we don't need to be too worried about how much garlic how fine we chop it. We just want to get it roughly done because it's all about adding flavour to the olive oil. And if you're not filming a video and you're not demonstrating how to do this, then I would thoroughly recommend making this before you start cooking, because the longer it sits in the olive oil, the more flavour you're going to add to it. So there we go. I'm sacrificing flavour for the sake of a video. What has the world come to, eh, Steph? And whilst let's get some rosemary from our herb garden here that sits on the dash. We're still killing every plant that we try and keep alive. So yeah, again, any tips on how to keep herbs alive, drop them below, because I haven't got a clue about gardening. We don't have a garden. This is like the only garden we've got, and they always die. I think it might be because the herbs are in the windscreen and they're just being burnt out. Olive oil, garlic, rosemary. Those 3 guys, put them in a room together and they're always going to have a good party. But if you want to enhance the party a little bit and make it go till the after hours, drop in a bit of salt in there too, and maybe a little bit of pepper, because salt and pepper go hand in hand. I'm going to mix that up with the brush that I'm going to use to kiss the potatoes with whilst they're on the barbecue. And look, we've just got an easy, nice, simple marinade there. That's not complicated, that's really easy, and it's a good job it is, because we were in a bit of a rush today. Right, what I'm going to do is get these on the barbecue first of all on the Madcon, and we're just going to pop them over there, over the high heat. And then we're just going to give them a little brush on the top first, then we're going to rotate them and then brush them again. There we go. We've got the potatoes on the barbecue. Whilst they're kind of cooking along and smoking away, we're going to do the same with the padron peppers because, well, usually I put padrons in a big pan and I add oil and all that sort of stuff and turn it over, but I just want to kind of start using these kebab skewers. We carry them on the van and we don't use them enough, so I thought, well, why don't we just make this a little bit easier and a bit more simple. Whilst I'm doing this, I can explain to you the importance of bavette steak and how we cook it. So bavette steak is all about maintaining the moisture in it, and to do that we need to cook it hard and fast. We need a high heat for a short amount of time. Think a couple of minutes either side. Anything more than that and the meat is going to really start getting chewy, and that's what you don't want. So we're going to cook it hot and fast, and then actually we want to rest it. We want to rest it for much longer than what we would with a traditional steak, I would say. Usually I say when you cook something, let it rest maybe the same amount of time you've cooked it. For a bavette steak, I would probably say double. So I think we're going to take 2 minutes either side, and we're going to rest it for about 10 minutes. There we go, there's my padron pepper kebab. Nice and easy. In fact, do you reckon we can squeeze a few more on there? Yeah, they're all friends, aren't they? Let's see if we can get them all on. Oh, God, we went a bit long on them actually. I'm going to have to put them at an angle. Right, we're going to give them a few minutes. And what we might do now is, I've actually already put a bit of a coat on it already, but we're going to add some more salt. This is, if you see me use this all the time, it's Dario Cecchini, so it's from Tuscany. And Dario Cecchini is the godfather of beef, in my opinion. The beef that I had at his butcher house on that 8-course menu or whatever it was some of the best beef I've ever had. And to take a little bit of that away with his salt and to buy a lovely piece of beef like that from my local butcher is just, I don't know, it feels like I'm back in Tuscany. So we're going to give it a couple of minutes, we're going to drink some wine, and then we're going to put the steak on. I told you this was easy. We're going to get the steak, and what we're going to do is take the potatoes and the padron peppers off. We're going to pop them onto the plate. We're going to put the steak on because we want the maximum space of the Madcon to cook this. And then when we take the steak off, we're then going to put the potatoes and padrons back on to kind of reheat them. Just turn them over. Look at those potato kebabs with garlic, rosemary, olive oil, these beautiful padron peppers here. So I'm going to take them off. And that's the one good thing about doing potato kebabs. They're on a stick, so you can just grab them all off together and it's nice and simple. Right, it's now time to get the steak on. Sizzle. That is the sizzle that we want. I'm going to get rid of this plate out the way. I'm going to take these gloves off because I've just touched the raw meat. Okay, this is quite a couple of minutes on that. Then we're going to flip it over. It's really important that you don't start touching, don't play with your meat, don't start slapping it, don't start whacking it. Just let it sit there on its own. Let it do its thing. Every time you whack it and touch it, it drops moisture out of it, and that's flavour. So we're just going to leave that a couple of minutes, and then we're going to flip it over. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes, so I'm going to flip the steak over. Oh yeah. Now when you put salt on your steak, it draws out a little bit of the moisture on the outside, dries out the skin, and it causes this effect called the Maillard effect or something like that. I don't know, someone can correct me in the comments. But basically what that means is it creates a bit of a crust on the steak, and that's exactly what you want. Okay, the steak has been flipped. It's on the other side. And for a bavette steak, you really want to be cooking it on the rare side of medium rare. So let's put that out. Let's let that rest. Let's get our potatoes and our padron peppers just to gently warm through. That charcoal is just starting to phase off now, so we need to kind of get that fire built up ready for the table, but we're just going to let that steak rest. And one of the things we can do, because we're cooking outside, is put some kind of tin foil over it. Now usually I like to use a cloth or something, but what this does is just kind of keeps the cold air from touching over the top of it, and it just takes the pressure off. So now we can just wait 5-10 minutes, invite your guests to the table, serve the potatoes, serve the padron peppers on the plate, put the steak on top. Beautiful, easy peasy. So we'll just go wait 5 minutes now, Steph. Let me brush that garlic off there. Just look at that. How beautiful do they look? Just give them a little tickle. We've got a rogue red there as well. When cooking a Bavette steak, give it time. Relax. Enjoy yourself. Don't be squirmish. Trust the chef. Trust the medium rare. Trust it. Because when you add a little bit of this, with a little bit of salt and some potatoes and some, it's just honestly, this is such good quality beef, and I can just tell because it's kind of just shredding in my hands too easily. And we're just going to load that up like that. Shall we have the chef's bit, the end bit? That really is a chef's piece. It is so much flavour in it. It's soft, it's melting in my mouth. There is a bit of a chew to it, but with every bite comes a bit of excitement. It's not just folded softly in my mouth, it's every bite is a flavour. It's incredible. Right, we need to sit down. We need to enjoy this. Steph, please take a seat at the chef's table.